You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines, and our guest today, Armed Forces spokesperson Major General Edgard Arevalo. Sir, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on The Source.
Morning, Ria.
All
And all
right.
our television.
Sir, the big news yesterday, of course, was the vaccination of members of the PSG. Can you tell us more about this, sir? What can you tell us? How and when did these vaccinations occur?
Well, as I stated in the statement that we issued yesterday, the only information available to us that the members of the Presidential Security Group, well, not all of them actually. I have just spoken to Brigadier General Jesus Durante, and he told me that only those who are in the close-in security or the members of the presidential escorts of the Presidential Security Group were the only ones who were inoculated for COVID-19. But with regard to the process involved, we are not privy about it. And what we can just tell you and confirm is that the PSG members, the presidential escorts of the PSG, were the first ones who were being inoculated with anti-COVID-19 virus vaccine.
All right, sir, do you know when exactly they were inoculated?
We don't have information of that depth yet, Ria, but we can find out.
Okay, so you're saying some members of the PSG, not all, got the vaccination. Only the close-in members of the PSG, close-in of the president, that is, got it. Is that right?
That's correct. Only members of the presidential escorts.
Okay. Would you know how many, sir, were vaccinated?
I would have to ask that, but definitely it's not the entire members of the PSG.
All right. Were any other units of the military able to receive the vaccine, sir, or PSG lang po talaga?
Definitely, wala pa pong ibang miyembro ng Armed Forces of the Philippines, not even the Chief of Staff, not even me, or not even other high-ranking officials of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Let us just take into account that this particular vaccine was given only to select members of the Presidential Security Group, even owing to the nature of their job being close-in security and the protector of our president. And the protection has to be ensured not only from physical threat, but only to threats to his health and well-being, particularly that of a COVID-19 virus. That's why it's essential for the few members of the Presidential Security Group to be given this inoculation to protect the president.
Sir, do we know where this vaccination came from? Was it indeed a donation, as was earlier said?
I'm not really privy to it. I have asked General Durante, and he himself is not aware as to the process involved as to the procurement or availability of this vaccine.
No, sir, the vaccination of members of the PSG, as you know, has been widely criticized. I spoke to FDA Chief Eric Domingo yesterday, and he said in no uncertain terms that the importation, distribution, and administration of medicines and vaccines not approved by the FDA is illegal. What's your comment on that?
Well, we understand the sentiments of some quarters with regard to the PSG getting the first shot. But as you were saying, this is necessary and essential owing to the particular mission and function of this unit. Well, not even everybody in that unit was inoculated. So with regard to the legality of it, I think it would have to be left to the ones who are in charge of the legal aspect of this particular case. But I think right now, what we should look into is the recognition even that we should accord to these members, some members of the Presidential Security Group, because even they themselves are aware of the possibility of risks involved in getting this shot, but be that as it may, in the performance of their duties and responsibilities to protect the president, they're willing to take that risk.
What, sir, then would you say to critics who have said that they're not following the prioritization which the government set itself as far as the order of vaccination goes? Of course, we know that frontliners, medical frontliners, are supposed to be on the top of the list, followed by indigent seniors, other seniors, the indigent population, and then the military. So they're actually fifth on the list, but they got it first.
I understand. I also heard that particular report, but I cannot comment on that because the process is beyond my competency to answer. What I can just tell you is the reason why among the members of the AFP that were given this inoculation, it was only select members of the Presidential Security Group. As we were saying before, we were thankful to the President for saying, even before this vaccine was made available, that the military will be among the first. But even then, it is because of the nature of the fact that we are also ourselves frontliners. Remember that in the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic, your military personnel are also frontliners. So in essence, if you're going to put the AFP at the fifth, but you can also qualify and clarify that they are also frontliners. So definitely they're among the first.
All right, General Arevalo, we still have many questions for you, but for now, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Armed Forces spokesperson, Major General Edgard Arevalo. Sir, good morning once again. Of course, we're discussing the inoculation of members of the PSG against the COVID-19. Sir, if a donation becomes available once again, will the AFP still wait for FDA approval, or will they use that donation to vaccinate more members?
We're willing to follow, and we should follow the regulations. But as I said, owing to the nature of the duties and responsibilities that these military personnel perform, it is also a prioritization among the priorities. So in which case, if it becomes necessary that we perform our duties as frontliners and the vaccines are already available, hopefully the other agencies of government that are in charge with the regulation will be the one to take the lead and make the vaccine available to the military personnel that will be facing the front lines.
General, what message does this then send out to the general public who are being told, being warned not to use unapproved vaccines?
Well, the message is in the performance of our duties, we also have to balance the interest of our principals. We have to balance the performance of our mission as against the regulation. As I was saying, this particular case with the PSG is unique because of the nature of their job, the circumstances obtaining between the availability of the vaccine and their need to protect the president. But as I said, we hope that the other agencies of government that are in charge with regulation will also fast track the authorization, the so-called emergency use authorization, so that this will be available and there will be no more issues with regard to the administration of the vaccine, because it is very essential and necessary, especially to the members of the AFP who will be performing their duties in the front lines.
All right, thank you for that, sir. Now let's change topic slightly. Let's talk about the Antiterrorism Council. They recently approved a resolution designating the Communist Party of the Philippines and their armed wing, the New People's Army, as a terrorist organization. What does this mean for you, and does it actually change anything?
Well, as far as the Armed Forces of the Philippines is concerned, that is a very essential development in the sense that these communist terrorist groups are using the banks. They are obtaining bank accounts where they put in the money that they obtain from their extortion activities. The big and the enormous amount of dollars and euros that they were able to obtain from their international solidarity works using non-government organizations as fronts in order to extract support from foreign NGOs. They also store this in the banks. So with this resolution passed by the Antiterrorism Council, it will aid the military largely in the performance of its functions, because with this, the AMLAC will be empowered and involved in the freezing of the accounts. And definitely these are going to have a logistics impact on the capability of this communist terrorist group to wage war against government, particularly in buying firearms, ammunition, improvised explosive devices, and other war wherewithals that they use in their fight against our government.
So how impactful is it, General, that to freeze the assets of the members of the Communist Party of the Philippines and the New People's Army? How much of an impact is that going to make?
Well, if they will not be, if their accounts will be frozen and they will not be able to withdraw it, then they will not have the money to buy the war wherewithals that I was saying and referring to earlier in order for them to fight government. In that sense, they will not have money even to bribe and to coerce the people to fight government and side with them. So these are going to have a good impact on our operations.
Sir, are you confident that the Duterte administration can end the insurgency before the end of President Duterte's term?
We are very confident, and so far as the armed forces of the Philippines is concerned, because more than ever, there is a support, or there are support from other agencies of government. We were saying in the past that insurgency cannot be solved by military solution alone. The so-called drivers of insurgency, like poverty, lack of access to basic health services, education, and so-called injustice, this could be addressed by other agencies of government. But with the National Task Force on Ending Local Communist Armed Conflict, we are sure that government will be able to address these root causes of insurgency, and with that, the armed force of the Philippines will not be alone. And besides that, we can see that their defeat is imminent and irreversible because of the tactical and political losses that they are suffering in the field. Political in the sense that many local government units and I have declared them persona non grata, and they're not allowed to enter their communities anymore. Even the people have withdrawn their support to these communist terrorist groups, thereby depriving them of material, intelligence, and logistical support that they used to avail of when the civilians are still siding with them. On the tactical side, there were about 2,368 surrenders already, 221 killed, and 282 were arrested. And the number of guerrilla fronts have dipped from 68 to now 56, and the number is still counting. More guerrilla fronts have been weakening, and more importantly, we can see that the number of surrenderers that are now in the folds of law are giving us vital information, and even the people are supporting us. And the primary message that we would like to convey to our fellow Filipinos who have been misled, who have been betrayed by these groups, that they should now is the time for them to come out in the open, return to the folds of the law, and take advantage of the various programs that government has provided for them in order for them to go back to mainstream society. We have the so-called enhanced comprehensive local integration program, whereby there are benefits that could be given to them, including sums of money that they can be used as entrepreneurs for them to start life anew. And more importantly, and above all this, we can see that our people has been awakened from the continuous being dragged and misled by these people, especially during the Senate hearing that we had, where we unmasked this communist terrorist group as to their real intent. The members of the communist terrorist group, NTA, should no longer expect for a national level ceasefire, because that is already water under the bridge. The president himself said he is no longer giving in to national ceasefire. But we always support, as we are still supporting, a localized peace talks, because in that particular context, the local issues and concerns by the local communist terrorist group members could be best addressed by the local government units in their area. Therefore, the solutions that will be provided will be more abreast and more fitting to address the issues that they have.
So at least on the local level, General, the AFP continues to support peace talks.
Well, we are supporting peace talks at the local level, especially now that the members of the local chief executives are getting the assistance or assisting the military in our operations. As a matter of fact, some of them have already gained the foothold in the areas that they don't usually able to visit. So what is important is that national government agencies, local government agencies, and local chief executives are now working hand in hand to address these issues of the insurgents in their respective areas. And with that, we are hopeful that the defeat of this communist terrorist group will be irreversible, and we will be successful before the president ends his term by 2022.
That's right. Thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. We do appreciate it. That was Armed Forces spokesperson, Major General Edgard Arevalo. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Ria Tanjuatco-Trillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.